Inactive former 2-division world champion Danny Garcia will be turning to action this Saturday night against Jose Benavidez Jr in a 12-round fight at 154 on Showtime at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York.
Having Danny back is good for Barclays, it's good for boxing.
The always popular Danny Swift wants to capture the 3rd division world title at 154, and beating Benavidez is the first step of the journey. Garcia lost his last fight against Errol Spence in December 2020, but he feels he could have won if he'd followed up after hurting him on several occasions.
I fought 15 world champions.
Jose Benavidez Jr is the brother of the popular unbeaten 168 pounds contender David Benavidez, who many boxing fans believe is the best fighter at super middleweight.
My job is to keep everybody motivated and united.
Benavidez Jr has fought lesser opposition in record-padding fights during his 12-year career. In 2018, Benavidez temporarily took a break from fighting second-tier opposition when he fought superstar Terence Crawford, but it ended badly for him, losing by a 12th-round knockout. After that loss, Benavidez took a 3-year break from action before returning to the ring last year against Journeyman Francisco Torres in November 2021.
I'm ready to show the world I'm the one at 154.
Danny Garcia predicts an easy 7th-round knockout victory on Saturday night against Jose Benavidez Jr in their main event clash at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Garcia knows what it takes to be a champion. He was a unified junior welterweight champion who owns wins over Lucas Mattis, Amir Khan, Zeb Judah and Eric Morales.
Down goes Eric Morales!
He was 22-0 before winning the WBC light welterweight title in March 2012, and his 4th-round TKO of Amir Khan in July 2012 earned him the WBA and the ring titles. We saw him successfully defend all 3 belts on 4 occasions before making the jump to welterweight. It's been a rocky road for Garcia since moving up to the tougher competition though. He could only win a majority decision of Lemont Peterson in his 2nd fight at welterweight in April 2015, but he did win the WBC welterweight belt with a unanimous decision win over Robert Guerrero the following year. However, Garcia lost the belt by split decision to Keith Thurman in his first title defense. He lost a unanimous decision to Porter in a bid to reclaim his title back in September 2018. Garcia has been able to beat Adrian Granados and Ivan Redkach to receive another title shot though. Danny lost his last fight against IBF welterweight champion Errol Spence by a 12-round unanimous decision in December 2020. Benavidez was in fact, once upon a time a hot prospect, a blue chipper to sign.
I created monsters, I created animals.
But he's never delivered on the promise. And though on paper, in some ways, he has some advantages on Garcia, and he's never proven he can fight at 147 as well as Garcia. Benavidez suffered the long loss of his pro career in 2018, a 12th-round TKO loss to Terence Crawford in a 147-pound title fight. The 34-year-old former 2-division world champion Garcia is coming off a long layoff to take this 12-round fight.
I'm a skillful fighter. I've been in the game for a while.
Still, he feels confident that he's got the firepower to stop former welterweight world title challenger Benavidez Jr.
Danny Garcia going there, great show, great fight, and get this W.
Garcia's record at welterweight was a poor 8-3 after moving up to 147 in 2014.
154 is a good weight class for me, especially at this time in my career.
Danny lost to the only 3 quality fighters he faced at 147 and likely would have been beaten if he stayed and taken on Terence Crawford and Jaron Ennis.
My mind is good, mentally, physically. I think that's the most important thing for me.
There's a lot of pressure on Garcia to win big on Saturday night, because he needs to make a statement in this fight to convince the boxing world that he's got the ability to be a major player at 154.